welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. You guys hit the like goal, so now we are going to be continuing Naruto Rebirth as we get into the Shippuden part of the Naruto series with Naruto Rebirth Cycle of Hatred. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 5. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. So if you are new to this story, I recommend watching the first 4 parts so that you can be fully aware of the story, but I will give a brief recap. In this universe, Sasuke gets the Rinnegan earlier following the events of the Land of Waves, where during his fight with Haku, he lost a little more blood than was needed. Sasuke could have survived, but it would have been touch and go, and one of the medics within the Land of Waves would suggest that Sasuke would need a blood transfusion. Naruto wanting to offer his services after Sasuke risked his life to save his, even putting his dream on the line just to protect Naruto. Naruto wanted to do the same for a comrade. As a result, Sasuke's blood is mixed in with Naruto's blood, which, as you know, being the reincarnates of Indra and Ashura, when they two mix together, it causes the Rinnegan to awaken. Thus, Sasuke goes from having a base Sharingan to full-on having a naturally born Rinnegan. Now, this isn't like the Rinnegans that you've seen before. This isn't something that was transplanted into him, so it doesn't really work with his body all that well. This is something that fits to his body naturally, so he can use the Rinnegan and its power to its fullest extent naturally, like those who are born with it naturally, say the Sage of Six Paths to be an example. Because of this, Sasuke unknowingly is free from the cycle of hatred. It doesn't mean he doesn't have the emotions that he has, but it means that his mind is not clouded by his emotions. Also along the way, things change within this Naruto universe. For example, Sakura is the one bitten by Orochimaru and given the curse mark and miraculously survives, changing her fate as well. Also in this universe, Karin Uzumaki now finds herself in the Hidden Leaf and in company with Naruto, as well as Sasuke, along with other members of the Konoha 12. But how will the story change going forward as we enter into the part of Shippuden? Well, to find out, stay tuned as we now continue. Naruto Rebirth, the Cycle of Hatred. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 5. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Naruto and Jiraiya would walk back into the Hidden Leaf village. It had been close to 2.5, approaching 3 years, since they had last seen the village hidden in the leaves. Much had changed for Naruto during his time away, as he trained with the Toad Sannin, Jiraiya himself. When he left the village, he left with a heavy heart. His friend, his first love, Sakura Haruno had left the village, being pulled into the ropes of Orochimaru. And then there was also the dealing of the Akatsuki, who had begun to make their moves, and with Naruto being in their sights. For Naruto and for his friends, much had changed during these 2.5 years. For Sasuke, he continued on in his training under Kakashi, the two of them drawing out the true powers of their dojutsu. Of course, Sasuke couldn't copy ninjutsu with the Rinnegan. However, he was able to learn any jutsu that he was taught, as well as having access to all 5 changes in chakra nature. Sasuke would use this to the full in the form of the jutsus he was able to acquire. For fire jutsu, he had the Great Fireball Jutsu, the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, the Flaming Shuriken, and the Fire Dragon Jutsu. And in similar veins, he took the mastering jutsus in water, earth, wind, and lightning release, although lightning release was a particular favorite of his. He also took to learning what he could about the Rinnegan, learning how to use a few more of its techniques, such as the animal summoning jutsu, unknown to him, the animal path. He summoned a great hawk. This happened by chance, and he found that the hawk's visual aid, along with his own, were linked, along with the likes of using a clone technique, such as the lightning shadow clone jutsu, to which he could make 5 clones maximum. The clones all had the same visual prowess and link as Sasuke, so Sasuke could see what his clones saw. When it came to Rinnegan abilities, he also took a mastery in learning Shinra Tensei and Bansho Tenin, the power of Almighty Push and Almighty Pull, as well as being able to summon chakra rods, chakra receiver rods that, when stabbed into an opponent, was capable of disrupting their chakra flow to a degree, although these were taxing jutsus to use, so he chose not to spam them when possible. Under the tutelage of Kakashi, Sasuke would also climb the ranks of Konoha, even going to the rank of Jonin himself, and with Sasuke's reputation growing within the Land of Fire for the many missions that he took under the tutelage of Kakashi during this time. Then next, there was Karin, who during this time trained under the tutelage of the 5th Hokage, Lady Tsunade. With the help of Tsunade, Karin learned to fully utilize the techniques she already had, on top of learning new ones. First, there was the Mind's Eye of the Kagura, a technique that, when used, allowed her to have sensory ability on par with the dojutsu likings to the Byakugan and even the Sharingan, and to a degree the Rinnegan, allowing her to open up her third eye and using it as a way of sensing chakra from great distances and distinguishing individuals based off their chakra and seeing the chakra network. On top of that, she also had her Uzumaki adamantite chains, which would take the color of a golden form. She would also learn the summoning jutsu, that being able to summon the slug Katsuya, as well as having enhanced chakra strength along with perfect chakra control. She would also gain the Byakugo seal, the strength of 100 seals, as well as having top-notch medical ninjutsu training under her belt. She would also have the Rasengan in her arsenal. You may be wondering, when did she learn the Rasengan? It actually happened during her time while wandering with Naruto and Jiraiya in their search for Tsunade. Remember, Naruto was learning the Rasengan from Jiraiya, but Karin paid attention to how the jutsu worked and practiced it herself. Unlike Naruto, who had some struggles with learning how to use the jutsu and requiring an extra clone to do so, Karin was able to learn how to use the jutsu with one hand. And given her expertise in chakra control and being a full-blooded Uzumaki, she was able to get the purest form of the Rasengan. And to a degree, it would be a unique jutsu to have to her arsenal. Of course, it doesn't mean that she went to go any further with the Rasengan, it just meant that she had it and was capable of using it if need be. And then finally there was Naruto, who would have his training under Jiraiya. Naruto would get more mastery over the Shadow Clone Jutsu, along with gaining new aspects of the jutsu. He would learn his affinity for wind release and would use wind style to have a wind style Shadow Clone Explosion Jutsu, which were shadow clones imbued with wind chakra and when they were destroyed would cause a great explosion. He would also gain the wind style air bullet along with the Shadow Shuriken clone jutsu. Naruto would also manifest the Uzumaki adamite chains, however unlike Karin's, which was a golden color, Naruto's chains were orange with a red hue that formed around them, indicative to the power of the Nine Tails inside. He also learned techniques such as the Wild Lion's Maid along with the Hair Needle Sinbon technique, as well as the Summoning Jutsu, making the Toad contract. Naruto spent some time learning how to tap into the power of the Nine Tails. However, he could only control the Nine Tails' power up to the Two Tails cloak state without losing control. You see, unlike in the original timeline, Jiraiya had to take Naruto's training more seriously. With someone like Sasuke having the Rinnegan and being as powerful as he was, he knew that Naruto would feel lacking or left behind if he wasn't able to keep up with his rival. Because of this, they wouldn't spend their entire time focusing on trying to train and use the full power of the Nine Tails. Having the Two Tails cloak for Naruto was enough. He worked mainly on his chakra control and as well as using the Rasengan and the Odama Rasengan. But what was significant about this was that Naruto was able to perform the technique with one hand, no longer requiring the assistance of a shadow clone, this being indicative to his training and to his growth. In the meantime, throughout the village, Sasuke had been walking. He walked and looked around, seeing the people around him. The many smiles, the happy faces, the villagers caring about their day, the children playing in the streets, the elderly doing their shopping. For Sasuke, much had changed in his life over the last few years, mainly being in the way that he felt, the way that he carried himself. Sasuke couldn't fully describe it, nor could he fully understand how this feeling had changed over him. Perhaps it was the little things that he did, the missions he carried out, the people he met, the people he helped along the way. While walking to the Hokage's tower, there was an elderly woman that needed help crossing the street. Now, normally, Sasuke wouldn't have paid much mind to this. Not that he was in a way rude or anything, it just wasn't the thing that Sasuke did, but yet, for some reason, as if his body just seemed to move on its own, he helped the woman walk graciously across the street. As she turned and smiled, she asked for his name. Sasuke revealing that he were Sasuke Uchiha, the woman would smile kindly, patting Sasuke on the head and giving him an apple for his help. She would say that she remembered the times when the Uchiha walked through the village proudly, and she remembered those memories fondly and happily. She would recount stories hearing of the famed Uchiha heroes of the Leaf, who were a part of the founding of the village. She spoke of the Uchiha so admirably, and she apologized for Sasuke's loss. For Sasuke, he thanked the older woman, and he was touched. He had never heard anyone speak of his clan in such a way, with such reverence and respect. It filled him with a sense of pride and duty. For Sasuke, as time had gone on, his feelings of the Uchiha clan were not so one-sided. His efforts to keep himself focused on the past was more difficult than he could have imagined. Because now, whether he knew it or not, the village was kind of becoming his family. He had started to come to a point where he didn't want harm to come to anyone here. And if anyone dared to bring trouble to his village, they would regret it. As Sasuke made his way to the Hokage's tower, he would be visited by Karin as well, as she was making her way to the office as well. The two, along with Kakashi, had been spending time together a lot more, acting as a three-man team. Karin effectively taking the place of Sakura as a member of Team 7. She had even acquired the rank of Chunin while she was in the Leaf, and she also was a beloved citizen of Konoha. But today was a special day, as when the two of them arrived, they saw waiting in the room was Naruto and Jiraiya, along with Tsunade and Shizune. Of course, Karin was happy to see that her brother had returned home, while Sasuke would give a gentle smile and say that the prodigal loser had returned back to his village, to which Naruto and Sasuke would get into a typical spat before Tsunade would stop them both. Of course, Naruto's bigger surprise would be in learning the fact that his sister and his rival, and now his friend, had both outranked him, the two gaining the rank of both Chunin and Jonin, leaving Naruto as the lone Genin. Tsunade would tell Naruto that his chance to move up in promotion could come soon enough, but for now, he shouldn't let it bother him. Even if his rank was Genin, that was not an indication of his skill, since she knew that he had far since surpassed that a long time ago. As all three of them were gathered together, Kakashi would join in at the window seal as well. And with everyone present, Tsunade would announce that starting today, they would be the new effective Team 7. Of course, this filled both Naruto and Sasuke and even Kakashi with a heavy heart, as their minds would think of Sakura in that moment. However, this was only to be a temporary fix. Once they brought Sakura back, she would resume her roles as Team 7 member as well, and Karin would also stay. In fact, she was hoping that maybe the 4 could be a new Team 7. With Sasuke now being a Jonin, Kakashi wouldn't no longer be needed to watch after them all the time. Of course, Sasuke and Karin would tease that even if Sakura were to return to Genin status, she'd probably reach Chunin before Naruto anyway. And Naruto didn't like the idea that everyone in his own team was just going to outrank him, especially when he had the dream of being Hokage. Of course, unlike in the original timeline, there wouldn't be a need for a new bell test, primarily because of the fact that Kakashi understood the strengths of his team without even needing to test them. He had been training with Sasuke firsthand, and while he wouldn't say this out loud, he knew the Uchiha had surpassed him a while ago. It was just something that went understood. And if Sasuke had already surpassed him, then Karin and Naruto wouldn't be far behind. In the end, the bell test wouldn't really amount to much of anything besides the kids just showing off how much stronger they were than their sensei, and Kakashi still had an ego to a degree. From here, the story would progress the same as in the original, with Deidara and Sasori still attacking the Sand Village and kidnapping Gaara, the newly lamented Kazekage, and the current One-Tails Jinchuriki. Tamari, the sister of Gaara, would be in the Hidden Leaf during the time as the Chunin exams were coming up. However, once news gets to the Leaf about Gaara's capture, she would request to go back to the Sand immediately, with the new Team 7 following close behind. It would still take them the same time to get to the Sand Village as in the original, albeit with a few more hours shaved off given their overall strength and skill. Once they arrived, they would meet with the Sand Hospital, where Kankuro was being held, as he had been severely poisoned following his fight against Sasori. Karin would be the one to step in to try to save Kankuro's life, and here's where we would see Karin using her Uzumaki skills to the fullest. Now, she could have healed him the same way Sakura did, but Sakura had to be inventive and think on the fly in that scenario because this was something she wasn't fully experienced with. However, Karin, being an Uzumaki, meant that she had skills in sealing ninjutsu, and one of them was a method for just sort of an occasion. Karin would take out a sealing tag and place it on Kankuro's chest, with the kanji for poison written on it. This was the Poison Absorption Seal, a jutsu that Karin had been working on in combination with her medical ninjutsu. The purpose of this seal was that the seal would draw out the poison from a person's body and would basically be sealed away inside of the seal tag to be released and used for a later date and time. Using this seal tag, they were able to successfully extract the poison from Kankuro's body, and Kankuro was allowed to bite Karin on the arm in order to heal himself from the pain of having the poison within him. Of course, while everyone understood why the biting was happening, Sasuke felt a little off about that. He didn't like the way Karin would, exclaim or let out noise whenever she was bitten, but to be more specific, he just didn't like other people biting her. He didn't know why, but for some reason it just didn't really sit well with him. In either case, the poison would be extracted and Karin would get to work on an antidote for the poison. Team 7 would still come face to face with Granny Chiyo, who would be revealed to be the grandmother of Sasori. And Kakashi, using the scrap cloth from the Akatsuki robe that Kankuro had taken, would begin working on ways to track down the Akatsuki duo. And with Tsunade wanting to send reinforcements, she would have Team Guy go to back up Team 7 in their mission to rescue the Kazekage. From here, the story would progress the same, with the Team 7 along with Granny Chiyo backing them up as they would begin their search for the Akatsuki. However, Chiyo would see that it wasn't just Naruto affected by Gaara being taken, but it was Sasuke as well. Remember, it was Sasuke who had managed to defeat Gaara during the time of Konoha Crush, and it was because of that when the two came to their understanding. For Sasuke, he felt like he owed it to Gaara to save him. After all, like Naruto and like Gaara, Sasuke understood what it was like to be in an alone situation, to have people be prejudiced against you for something beyond your control. And yet even still, Gaara was able to change his fate, to change the way that people perceived him, and he became a shinobi worth admiring. He became a Kage. And for Sasuke, he didn't want to see that life end. However, both Team 7 and Team Guy would have a bit of a delay. While Team Guy was dealing with Kisame Hoshigaki, Team 7 would come face to face with Itachi Uchiha. Sasuke could feel his blood boiling at that moment. Why was Itachi here of all times? Kakashi would tell Karin, Naruto, and Chiyo to stand back, as Kakashi and Sasuke would stand to face him. Sasuke, however, his Rinnegan blazing and staring daggers into the Sharingan eyes of his brother. After looking long enough, Sasuke would close his eyes, shaking his head in disappointment. How long are you going to treat me like a little child, Itachi? So it seems you can see the truth. Of course. Just how much of a fool do you take me for? This isn't the real you. What? Kakashi would ask. It's gonna sound crazy, but the Itachi standing in front of us isn't the real Itachi. But my Sharingan can't detect anything different about him. He's either using a really good clone technique, but this has to be the real Itachi. It's gonna sound difficult, Kakashi, I know, Sasuke would say, but my Rinnegan sees it clearly. This is Itachi, but it's not really Itachi. This is like a small fragment of Itachi, if I can even call it that. All I know is that this Itachi isn't as real as it claims to be, so I know it's not as powerful. You think so, little brother? I'll show you just how real I truly am. Itachi would attempt to use Tsukuyomi to trap his brother once again. However, within the void of Tsukuyomi, Sasuke would stand undeterred. The same old tricks, huh? What? Showing me my past? What do you think that's going to accomplish, Itachi? So, you've finally grown up. Of course. You can play our parents' death on loop as many times as you want. The only thing you're doing is digging your grave even deeper. Sasuke held up his hand to Itachi within the Tsukuyomi realm as he raced towards him. I am done with you. You're in my way. Shinra Tensei! Sasuke would unleash a massive Shinra Tensei within the Tsukuyomi. As a result, on the outside, the Itachi standing before them would transform into who he truly was. Some random shinobi that had been used in a transformation clone technique. The clone had about 30% of Itachi's power. In the end, Sasuke simply overpowered it because it wasn't a match for him. With that, and not losing as much time as they had before, the teams were able to make their way to the cave where Gaara was being kept. Guy's team would still remove the seal tags that had been placed there, resulting in them facing against their clones, while they would have to deal with yet another delay. By the time Team 7 arrived, Gaara would be dead, with Deidara sitting on the body of the Kazekage. Both Naruto and Sasuke being angered by this display. So, this is the famed Sasuke Uchiha, huh? And the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto Uzumaki. I gotta say, I don't know why everyone was so worried for. From what I can see, neither one of you are all that special. Before Deidara could continue any further, Sasuke had closed the distance between them, his sword already being drawn and about to slice Deidara in half, if not for the fact that Deidara's body would transform into a white substance, like clay. Sasuke would then fall back immediately, telling everyone else to do the same, as a large explosion would happen within the cave. Deidara attempted to leave with Gaara's body. However, Sasuke and Kakashi would chase after him, Kakashi leaving Naruto, Karin, and Granny Chiyo to deal with Sasori. As the two battles take place, they would be much different than the battles known before. Of course, Chiyo and Karin, being the substitute for Sakura and Chiyo, you could say goes similarly to how it went before. However, with Karin using the mind's eye of Kagura, as well as having Naruto there for assistance, the two capable of using the restrictive chains of the Adamite sealing chains, and with their plethora of ninjutsu, it's safe to say that Sasori is in an even worser case than before. For one thing, Naruto has access to the multi-shadow clone jutsu technique. Even if Sasori uses his 100 puppets jutsu, Naruto can create a plethora of clones powerful enough to match them, along with Chiyo using her 10 mystic white puppet jutsu, and with Karin there to assist. Ultimately, it's too much for Sasori to overcome, and with them having the poison antidotes on them at this time, it would just simply be an overwhelming match that Sasori wouldn't have a chance of winning, which would ultimately result in his defeat. However, it's in this moment that Naruto and Karin would learn very important news. News regarding a certain someone. A spy that Sasori had working for him, that had been infiltrating Orochimaru's organization. He was supposed to meet this spy 10 days from now, in the land of grass, a land that Karin was familiar with, the land that she grew up in. It was going to be at Tenchi Bridge. In 10 days' time, his spy was going to be there. What they would do with that information, that was up to them. Naruto would be anxious at this. If they could meet with this spy, then potentially they could learn of a way to get Sakura back. In the meantime, Sasuke and Kakashi would chase down Deidara. Deidara would have a much more difficult time dealing with both Kakashi and Sasuke. Sasuke would use Bansho Tinin to pull Deidara back towards them, while using 2 of the black chakra rods, shooting them off as projectiles from his palms, stabbing Deidara in both the shoulder and in the leg, disrupting his chakra flow greatly. while Kakashi would use the Kamui twice to snap off his arm and his leg. Gaara would be left in a free-for-all as he tried to balance himself on one good leg. He would be forced to let Gaara's body go, before creating a series of small explosions within the ravine, causing to use them as distractions in order to make his escape. But now his hatred had increased tenfold. First, the users of the Sharingan, continuing to be the bane of his existence. And now Sasuke Uchiha, that Rinnegan brat. He didn't care what happened. He was going to make sure that the two of them would face off again. And he would prove that he was superior than any of these crazy eye-wielding bastards. They had already ruined his life once. Never again. From here, the story would progress much the same, with Chiyo giving her life to bring back Gaara. Gaara would be grateful to both Naruto and Sasuke for saving him, especially to Sasuke. It seemed like every time Gaara's life was threatened, the Uchiha always found a way of bringing him back into the light, of giving his life a second chance, and of meaning and of purpose. With that, Team 7, along with Team Guy, would make their way back home. However, as Team 7 would return home, Naruto and Karin would share what they learned with Sasuke. Sasuke being very interested in what they had learned. In less than 10 days' time, there was going to be a meeting at Tenchi Bridge. A meeting that could lead them back to a person they had lost long ago. In the meantime, within a dark cave, a girl dressed in a red, long-sleeved kimono with short pink hair sits among a pile of injured bodies. As she slowly stands, another figure walks out as well. You've done well, Sakura. But you're still holding back. The cloaked figure would create a sword made out of bones as he used it and stabbed one of the fallen in the throat. You would be so much more better off if you went for the kill, my child. You have fun shedding blood, Lord Orochimaru. I only shed the blood of those who truly have my ire. This is just more of an inconvenience, that's all. As poised and as confident as ever, my sweet Sakura. This concludes Naruto Rebirth Cycle of Hatred. What if Sasuke got the Rinnegan earlier? Part 5. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Naruto Moonlight. What if Naruto was a Hyuga? Part 5. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.